We actually also did a survey taking a look and asking people, how many of you have a formal strategy and a published program to deal with this? 13% of a few hundred mainframers their organizations have a published strategy. Now, the good news is about 31% have an informal strategy. Informal, I start to hear, we're doing it quietly, there's not necessarily a budget associated with it. And 56%, over half, have nothing. Have nothing. And with all of the resources that are around here today to deal with this, with everything that we have, that should not be the case. There has been so much done. Dave DeLong, in his book, Lost Knowledge, which is a book on how to capture and transfer knowledge, not just in IT, but in many industries. When you think about nuclear power, defense, and of course IT, this is happening in many industries around the world. He's put together a series of best practices that I think we could take to heart and learn from. The first piece is knowledge recovery initiatives. Well, this is exactly what IBM is doing with the university initiatives and doing a wonderful job making sure that the training is getting back at the undergraduate level and the graduate level as well. CA is doing some things similarly with universities around the world. The second is knowledge transfer practices, and that's really about mentoring. And actually, I believe somebody from IBM here at Share is holding a session on building mentoring programs. I strongly encourage everybody to go to that session because that's one of the cornerstones to truly transferring best practices. Third, human resources, policies, and management. Do you have a college recruitment program? Do you have a job sharing program? Do you have a boot camp of some type? And for the experts who are approaching retirement, are you being creative with them? Are you being open with them and saying, listen, how about a partial work week to extend the time along a little bit? How about a partial work year? Take the summer off. Sign me up. Please sign me up. So there's a bunch of things that can happen there. And again, all of the resources, I believe, are available. The fourth piece, and a critical piece that we've been struggling with, the industry has been struggling with, is there an IT application that can capture, store, and transfer expert knowledge? We're going to be talking more about these in a few minutes. And lastly, of course, the third challenge is increasing agility. I haven't spoke to a CEO or a CIO who is not working feverishly to get their organizations to move more quickly and be more agile, to literally move at the speed of business. I mean, how many people really want to have an organization that moves more slowly and is more sluggish and lethargic? Nobody does. But at the heart of agility is innovation, and it's two types of innovation. The first type of innovation you need breakthrough innovation, quantum leaps forward in productivity. But those things, of course, are difficult to plan. And then there's the second type of innovation, which is the chief operating officer's type of innovation, which is continuous improvement, marching forward every day, reducing costs, increasing productivity, a little bit at a time, kind of through the Six Sigma way. But the truth is, the intersection of the both, breakthrough innovation and continuous innovation, are going to be what defines competitiveness in the 21st century. So with all that, with those three big challenges, we stood up here, my colleague stood up here 18 months ago and said, we're going to put together a strategy to deal with this. It's called Mainframe 2.0. We made a bold statement about saying we were going to change the way the mainframe was managed forever. And in response to controlling costs, we made a promise about something that we would deliver in the future. When the promise was made, we actually had nothing at that time. And the promise was we were going to help customers maximize the value of the software that they already own. Second, to sustain critical skills, we made a promise in the future to simplify mainframe management through integration, through automation, and modernization. And third, we made a promise to help increase agility through delivering a continuous stream of practical innovation. Those were the challenges, and those were the promises that we made, and now we're going to take a brief walk through and see how we did. So first, MVP, the Mainframe Value Program, is a program that we put together, a no-cost program for our customers who need to basically make their software work harder, do the most with everything that you have. We send a mainframe expert on site. We take an inventory of what is the software that you own. We inventory what are your critical business initiatives that you're trying to drive, and we write a report, and we frankly marry the two. And we frequently find that many customers who have new initiatives that they're trying to drive, frankly, already own the software to get it done. They're just not aware of it because the software is so rich, it's so robust, there's so much in there that we typically find it's not possible for everybody to know how all of the software functions. We've done over 350 of these around the world to customers. We continue to do them on a regular basis. And again, in the spirit of do more with less, it is available at no cost. People say, hey, that's really great, Dayton, doing more with what I have, but I'm actually not kidding. I really need to do more with less. I literally next year need to take my budget down. How do we do more with less? So from traveling around the world, I've aggregated what are the best practices that I've heard from customers who have successfully and are successfully doing more with less. First is specialty processors. You have them, load them up to the hilt. The zips, the zaps, the IFLs, hammer on your vendors, as we get hammered on all the time, to make sure we are leveraging those processes more in the most efficient way, and load them up. The second, fit-for-purpose workloads. Make sure you are running the right workload on the right platform, whether it's mainframe or distributed. Excuse me. IBM will come in tomorrow and do an analysis for you of your workloads and ensure that you're parsing your workloads most effectively. Third, and this is a big one, is have a standardized operational stack. There's been a lot of consolidation going on. Banking is the perfect example. Lots of acquisitions and M&A going on where organizations are coming together with different pieces of software, different operational stacks, and they need to, typically best practices within 12 months, figure out how you're going to standardize, what software you're going to standardize on, and do it. It lowers your cost, and it also improves the productivity of your labor force who's got to work on the platforms, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in North America, whether it's in South America. And then once that is done, of course, integrate the tool sets. Integrate them, work with the vendors to make sure that your standardized stack is integrated in a way that drives the efficiency and effectiveness of your organization. So that's how to maximize value with the software you have, and then how to literally do more with less. The next challenge was to simplify management. And as you can see up here, you all recognize what this is. This is good old SMPE. It's beautiful. It's the industry standard. Of course, it's a little complex, and it can tend to be a little bit error prone. And so we wanted to go at this. And so we built something to help simplify management called MSM, or Mainframe Software Manager. It's essentially install shield for the mainframe that helps you automate the software acquisition, installation, deployment, and ultimately configuration of your software. And it significantly reduces installation times. And we did a little benchmark to figure out, well, how much is it going to reduce installation time, and how much is it going to reduce installation time for an expert versus a novice? So what we did was we grabbed 10 CA products, we grabbed a mainframe expert, dragged him down into the basement in New York, and asked him to install the products. And it took about 6.5 hours to do that with SMPE. We took the same expert, those same 10 products, using MSM, and it took 51 minutes. An 8 times productivity improvement, an 87% reduction in time. So that's great, but that's for the expert. But we're simplifying mainframe management to help sustain critical skills. So what about for the novice? So we did something that was extraordinarily mean. You know what we did. We grabbed a novice and said, hey, let's take a ride in the elevator. No, we're just going to go down to the basement for a little while. No problem. Went down into the basement and said, hey, here are 10 products. Install them, please. After 21 hours, after 2 days, we said, no mas. Raise the white flag. This is over. The 10 products were installed in different ways. I can't say it was right. I can't say it was error-proofed. And as this young, beautiful person was trying to run out of the building as fast as humanly possible, we said, wait, come on back in, one more run. Let's use MSM, and let's see what happens. That novice, using MSM, was able to install the same 10 products in just over 1 hour, error-proofed through guided workflows. That's a 17 times increase, I believe, in productivity and a 93% improvement. But hey, I'm a vendor. I talk about this all the time. That's our internal benchmark. What I would like to do right now is call up somebody on stage that you all know very well to talk a little bit about his experience with MSM. Brian Peterson. Come on up, Brian.
Dayton, thank you very much. My company is a relatively small company, and so we have a relatively small team on our mainframe support team. We've been using MSM now for the last year or so, and all of our CA products have been installed using MSM as of today. So what I found personally using MSM is the team is relatively experienced. In fact, some members of the team qualify for the OCG acronym. The old crusty guy, and I've one in particular back at the shop that's particularly characteristic of that acronym. But even everybody has actually adopted this because the experience for an individual like myself who's been around this business for a while is that using a tool, an appropriate tool for the task, just makes us so much more effective, and it's just a lot more fun to do something quickly and effectively by filling in a few parameters and allowing the system to do the work. And that's essentially what we get when we have used MSM as it exists so far. So with that, Dayton,
Brian, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. So also in the spirit of doing more with less, I forgot to ask Brian how much he paid for it, but I think the answer was zero. And it is something that we give to customers literally to help simplify mainframe management. I also know that IBM has invested a lot in this area as well. ZOS MF is a good example of some modernization of some interfaces and some GUIs to again help simplify management of the mainframe.